man. Everybody got to come on here. But we are live with the By You Ballers podcast. Happy late Thanksgiving to everybody. Same to you and your family, Trey. How was your Thanksgiving yesterday, brother?
It was good, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you and our fans, and I hope y'all watching us while y'all Black Friday shopping. Don't be running over them old ladies or anything like that. Trying to get that TV, but man, it was good. Spent it in the city. Got to visit home. My mama hosted, cooked, all the fixings. And then I'm in BR by my wife's people, and they know how to throw down too. So
Heard so. Y'all know Trey touring in Louisiana right now. He gonna hit Slidell next, Hammond. He gonna go check out my old school, and every other place. But little fun fact, I haven't ate any Thanksgiving food. I was at work yesterday from morning to night. But I was gonna eat it getting off work just now, but we got straight into the live. But I'm gonna handle my plate because mom saved me a whole pot, made me a plate. And I got some gumbo and some potato salad. So I'm gonna handle that once I get off here. And I still got some things to do around the house before I get to the food. But man, we got 17 people in here already. Y'all, come on, give it up.
Come on with the love, bro.
Live, man. Show love. Happy Thanksgiving, man. If y'all ain't catch the beginning. But we're gonna talk about some NFL updates. We know the Chiefs and Raiders game is going on right now. Black Friday game. I don't know why they threw that on this year. Then it's like at a crazy time, like
2:30 was when it started, bro. The NFL just the big bad wolves, and they're letting everybody know. So
they trying to invent on everything. We'll talk about that over the show, but we're gonna open the show with Trey came up with this idea, and we thought it would be really fun that we open this up with saying what are we thankful for in sports terms, and we're gonna let Trey open up. What are you thankful for in sports? Terminology.
Yeah, man. Well, there's a couple of things I'm thankful for. I would say the first thing I'm thankful for is the resurgence of the running back position in the NFL. The way we talked about it kind of in the offseason of how the running back position was being devalued, and you had guys like Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, who were trying to get their money, even Saquon Barkley. And we were talking about, do you pay a lot of money to a running back in today's game? And a lot of people felt like you could get anybody to be the running back. Hint, hint, New York Giants. And it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes the best player and Cowboys, who didn't even call Derrick Henry, right? So you kind of in a situation where they started having conversations earlier in the year of, oh man, we got to ban 2 high safeties because the quarterbacks can't play well against them. And then some genius said, well, maybe if they're playing too high, you probably want to run the ball a little bit more. And so you obviously see guys like Christian McCaffrey who's making his way back from injury. Alvin Kamara played his way into another contract extension. Derrick Henry is looking like a bargain right now, making $8 million per with the Baltimore Ravens and being in the MVP conversation. And obviously, we know what Saquon Barkley is doing with the Eagles.
Hold up. You forgetting Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs.
You're right. And I didn't get to right. And Joe Mixon is doing things. I mean, people probably thought he would fall off leaving the Cincinnati Bengals, but he's done well for the Houston Texans. You mentioned Josh Jacobs, who had a great game yesterday against the Miami Dolphins. And they've done so well. We're talking about a guy, I'll mix some college football in here, Ashton Genty being a top 10 pick, running back for Boise State. And we thought we were getting to a point in time where you weren't even touching a running back until maybe late second, third round. And now we're talking about a guy being in the top 10. And I think that's because the running back position is making a comeback. And so I'm grateful for that. And the second thing I'm grateful for this year is the Spurs veteran. Go ahead.
Before you go on that second one, I wanted to touch on the Genty thing. Yeah. Do you think is because we saw Zeke go high, we saw Leonard Fournette go high? I'm thinking of the last running backs that went high. I think they would have
Falcons running back. Texas Bijan was the last one.
Bijan, Saquon was high.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the one coming to my head right now. But do you think when you are just like amazing talent like that, you're just gonna be in that top 10 no matter what?
Yeah, I think so. Because his talent is undeniable at this point. Dude probably is gonna win a Heisman playing at Boise State, which, to my knowledge, has never happened in their program's history. And then I think you're starting to look at, some teams probably have their quarterback, or at least from whether it's contractual or they just signed a young quarterback, and maybe you might see some teams that are in a position to draft Ashton Genty that maybe in previous years they would probably use that pick on a quarterback, whether that quarterback was good or not, or an offensive lineman, whether that was a good player or not, but more so just them playing at a premium position that's valued higher than the running back position. But to your point, I think once you get a player that just has that talent, and you feel like you got most of your holes fixed, especially at the quarterback position, you can take that chance on a running back. And I think we saw the Falcons do that with Bijan Robinson. I mean, it wasn't that they felt that their quarterback position and everything was solid, but they knew that they couldn't pass on that talent, that they would figure it out. And they ended up obviously figuring it out, getting Kirk Cousins. They draft Michael Penix Jr., so they have a guy that can step in right now and a guy for the future. And you still got Bijan Robinson doing great things on a cheap contract as a running back. So it worked out for them.
Okay, I like that. What's your next thing that you're thankful for?
Well, I'm thankful for the Spurs veterans, and by Spurs veterans, I mean Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes. Anybody that follows me on Twitter at Future NBA Gov. Last year, I talked a lot about how the San Antonio Spurs are probably the least basketball intelligent team in the NBA, which is crazy, given that you have a young team, and given that you're coached by arguably the GOAT. And Greg Popovich, which by the Coach Pop, hope you shake back and get healthy soon and finish the year out with us. We miss you, but man, it's been night and day. I think it took us 50 or 60 games to get to 9 wins last season, and we've done it in 20 something. Having or less than that, actually, not even 20 something, like 18 games or something. Because we 9-9. So so even
10 wins.
Not 10 yet, because we lost to the Lakers. We ain't got to talk about that. But the way Chris Paul has just kind of orchestrated things, making life a little bit easier for Wemby, but also the other players on the court. Harrison Barnes, I just think his veteran. I mean, we saw what he did with the Sacramento Kings when they were a young team, and kind of getting De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis to a all-star level, to where now they're competing for playoff position every year. And I think you're starting to see a little bit of that with the Spurs, and the way they just kind of gravitate to those guys. You don't feel like, at least I don't feel like I did in years past when we had like DeMar DeRozan and Marco Bellinelli, where it felt like those veterans were taken away from the development of the young guys. I think Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes are adding to the development of the guys we have. And keep in mind, Devin Vassell is still coming back from injury. Jeremy Sohan is dealing with an injury. So even when we get some of those young guys back into the fold and with that veteran leadership, it's going to be exciting. So I will say I am thankful for those guys, because they make it fun to watch Spurs games outside of what crazy stuff Wemby's going to do. I don't feel as bad watching Keldon Johnson on the court or Zach Collins on the court, because they have these veteran guys making it a little bit more.
Zach Collins is a veteran.
Technically speaking, by years played, but I mean,
you're a mid vet, huh? You're a low IQ vet for them.
Yeah, so I'm definitely grateful for those guys, and when we get some of our young guys back, and hopefully Coach Pop back, I think with some of the growth I'm seeing already, that could be really beneficial for the team going forward this year and beyond.
Okay. I will say this. Fact check for us: the Spurs are at 10 wins. They're 10-9.
Okay.
And they're the 10th seed in the playoffs, which is the last play-in spot. You predicted they will make the play-in or the playoffs.
I said playoffs, which I wish we was in the East, because I think we'd be the 5th seed in the East, and we a game out of 4th in the West. So
correct, you will be the 5th seed, because Milwaukee is 9-9 and they're the 5th seed. I'll say this. I'm looking at the standings. Dang, Houston's 14-6.
They good this year.
God. Okay. This is a side note. I'm looking at the standings, and it just stood out to me. This is kind of off course what we were talking about, but I'm looking at Minnesota 8-10 out of the play-in totally, and I just think that was a bad trade for them, trading Cat.
Yeah.
I think they took a lot away from their team, and Julius Randle is just not that type of the player they needed. He's not a rim protector. He's not as good of a shooter as Cat is. and I don't think he's just speaking of high IQ players. I don't think that's his type of game. I think
Right.
he's one tunnel vision player when he gets the ball, and defense is very lackluster. And I think Cat has came a long way on defense. And Cat is having a great impact. He's been the Knicks' best player this whole year. So
Isn't he averaging a career high in points per game right now?
I think so. I think he is. I have to check that. But every time you look up, Cat's got high 20s, low 30s, and he's balling. So Jalen Brunson got to join him because he's having a little slow start to the season. But Minnesota, I don't know. Anthony Edwards might got to go God mode this year. So,
Yeah,
but
what you grateful for? What you thankful for this year, man? Sports Live.
I said for this one, I got to do this for all my Saints fans. I'm not gonna mention the guy, but I am thankful for the head coaching change because we're not worrying about the past. We're not gonna speak of the name. I wish for this the last 2 seasons. I finally got it. Miss Gail Benson made the call for us, and I'm just thankful for that. I was gonna say I'm thankful for the change in direction of the franchise, but after we traded Lattimore and then Loomis came out with the comments, and I think Mike Triplett posted they're not doing the full
Rebuild. Yeah.
They're just retooling. A lot of people like to use, which is, hey, it is what it is. But I would have liked the top 5 pick so we could get a Genty, something like something like that. Bring a Genty back up. I wanted Jahmyr Gibbs, your guy from Alabama. I wanted him, but we didn't get him. But I'm thankful for that for the Saints. And something else I'm thankful for. I gotta let y'all know because we know I'm a GOAT fan, and I'm just thankful for Brian playing another year. He played against the Pelicans. I couldn't make it to the game that day, and it was a great game, man. It came down to the inning. He hit a dag on us, and you never know. This might be his last season, and I miss seeing it, bro. But that's what I'm thankful for. But we can move on with the show. We want to get to some NFL breaking news. Chicago Bears fired Matt Eberflus after bad game management, not knowing they didn't have a timeout. And I really think this firing, I think the media caused this firing because I thought throughout the year, I didn't hear too much about Matt Eberflus. Maybe in Chicago, of course, they're a big media city, not nationally. But when they started to lose and the roads fall off, basically Caleb started to play worse. As he got worse during their losing streak, it started to come up. Man, what is Matt Eberflus doing? Because he was one of the most low-key coaches I've heard. We talked all about Chicago this offseason. Great weapons, great offense, good draft. And we never talked about their head coach. And it came to light this the first head coach they fired during the season. What's your thoughts on this? And what was your thoughts if you did see the game management crisis he had?
Yeah, and I can start there, man. Because some people say, man, that's on Caleb. He has to be better. And I said, that was a direct reflection of coaching. That's your main job is to come, and that's why you're the head guy. That's why you get paid what you get paid. As soon as Caleb got everybody to the line of scrimmage and looked towards the sideline, and you see that we're not regrouped, you got to call that timeout. It's 20. He got sacked with 32 seconds left, and you only needed 5 yards to get in field goal range. So honestly, I'm calling the timeout immediately, and we're coming up with the play that can get us 5 yards. We want to get out of bounds, but if we don't get out of bounds, special teams, which is Matt's specialty, you guys are going to be at the ready. So if we got to run on and get this field goal and get it to overtime, right? We ready. And you just saw that wasn't happening. And would you have liked Caleb to understand the situation too? Yes. But at the same time, he is the rookie. He just got sacked. We're getting everybody together. So he's trying to get the play call in his head and everything like that. And that's where the coaches, and I think it honestly was not even just an indictment on Coach Eberflus. It was an indictment on everybody on that sideline because we got to, where's the urgency? We have to get that timeout and get us together. And that kind of sealed his fate. I even tweeted, I was like, that's the scenario that gets a coach fired. And yes, they were on a 6-game losing streak, but out of 6 games, 4 of those ended in those exact situations where Caleb is playing well once they made an offensive coordinator change, which I think that was the second offensive coordinator that he had gone through. His defensive coordinator last year got into some issues and had to get fired 2 games into the season. So even his staffing hires weren't up to par. But you end up making an offensive coordinator change. Thomas Brown, who's now the interim coach, comes in. Caleb's starting to play a little bit better. And you get in scenarios where it's 1-score games where, Caleb gets you down and you miss a field goal. I think twice that happened where there was a situation where they got into field goal range with about 50 seconds left and they could have went for the win, truly getting the touchdown, and they played for the field goal and missed it. So you just started having a bunch of head scratchers from the coaching perspective. And so it became alarming to where you can't move forward with this guy. I think what kind of sucks though is that, and I saw someone mention this, is that this is the 3rd time in a row that they fired a coach where their rookie quarterback basically got 1 year with the head coach. Mr. Trubisky got 1 year with John Fox when John Fox probably should have already been fired. Justin Fields got 1 season with Matt Nagy when Matt Nagy probably should have already been fired. And now Caleb Williams doesn't even get a full year with Matt Eberflus. And now we're having to figure out the coaching situation and who's going to come in and how they're going to build around Caleb, when I think you could have done that. Could have made the coaching decision in January, hire somebody in and go through the whole offseason what that plan is going to be. But I just think Coach Eberflus had too many mistakes that directly fell upon coaching to where the Bears could no longer overlook that and had to take a different direction.
Okay, fired after a 6-game losing streak. And this brings me to our next point, which is another head coach opening job. It's the Saints, the Bears, and Carolina.
No, Jets.
Robert Saleh got fired. I'm sorry, Dave Canales. I'm trying to get you out there. Carolina, my fault. I know they turned over every year, but you ain't gone. Yeah. You might
he got the win that got us what we needed. So we gotta give him another year, man.
Yeah, yes, he got our guy fired, and he might have saved his job with the little win streak he went on after beating the Saints. So appreciate y'all for being here after Thanksgiving. We got 19 people in here right now. We love that. Thank y'all. Keep subscribing, keep liking, and keep watching the videos. 3 head coaching jobs are open. Love you, baby. Have a good day at work. 3 head coaching jobs are open. We just mentioned. Jeff, old quarterback. Don't know if he's going to be there. And I say old quarterback. That was disrespect. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, and he playing like it. It's okay.
I should say old quarterback, former 4-time MVP, because I got to put that on his jacket.
Okay.
Saints. Cat Hell, we should say at the least. In Chicago, rookie quarterback, weapons, good defense, solid defense, but bad at defending the run, I'll say. That's 3 teams. And do you think there will be other teams that join? I have a few in my head. Depending on the end of Todd Bowles this year, how the season ends. I think he was going to be fired last year. I was betting on this. Whichever team didn't make the playoffs, sadly, the Saints held on to Dennis Allen because the Falcons fired Arthur Smith. The Saints were supposed to fire Dennis Allen when they didn't make the playoffs last year. And since the Bucs made the playoffs and they beat the Eagles, that saved Todd Bowles' job because somebody had to make the playoffs in the NFC South. So depending on how this year goes, if they finish they have 5 wins now, they finish with 7 wins, and they falls off at the end, I think Todd Bowles will be gone. But that's just my opinion. Might not be true. Any other candidates on the board for you?
Jaguars could be some candidates with Doug Peterson. We don't know what's going to happen with him. If they're going to give him another year. The Bengals, maybe. I think it's going to be a lot about how Joe Burrow feels about the direction of the franchise and if he wants to stick with their coach, and they will. But I think if the Bengals make a coaching change and move on from Zach Taylor, for me, that becomes the number 1 job available for any coach that's aspiring to be a head coach, because you have the quarterback.
Right.
They're going to end up paying Jamar Chase. Like, I don't care about them having him play throughout his rookie contract. They're going to pay him the money he deserves. And they have a really, really good defense. So I think that's going to be the destination for some of the top candidates that are coming up, in my opinion.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
What about Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland?
No, I mean, because I think he's doing a good job given the circumstances. And I think
with Deshaun Watson.
Right. And I think he's been handicapped with that, and he's wanted to move on. It's clear because Joe Flacco last year, Jameis this year, it's clear it's a different way that they play when Deshaun Watson's not the starting quarterback for this team. Right. And, if they're going to move on for somebody, which reporters are saying they're going to try to make it work with Deshaun Watson again and bring in competition. In my opinion, if you have to do all of that, get rid of him. I mean, you're going to be all in on him or you're not.
Right. We saw Sean Payton get rid of Russell Wilson with that big $80 million cap hit. Granted, Russell Wilson wasn't all guaranteed like Deshaun is. And sadly, the Browns don't want to admit they made a mistake. They holding on. I was a fan of Deshaun Watson. He was a great player with the Texans. It just looks like those years off, he can't get it back to what he used to be. And he used to be great, top 5. He used to be one of those quarterbacks who you'll see battling. I think what they had the Chiefs down, 21-0 in the playoff game? I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They lost that game, but he was that guy you'll see go back and forth with Lamar, Josh Allen, Mahomes. He was up there with that, but he just can't get it back after all what went down in Houston. After leaving Houston and have that time off. So I don't know when they're going to cut the chains loose, but it looks like they're trying to hold on again.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, of the 3 that we know, though, man, like I know a lot of people, and I get it because the Saints.
We know Doug Peterson is gone. We know.
You think so? You think he's gone? But we'll say 4. But even just kind of thinking of the 3 I was thinking about, with it being the Bears, the Saints, and the Jets, I kind of was telling you earlier, I think you say the Bears is the top job because you have Caleb Williams. That's your quarterback that you're tied to.
No, I didn't say the top guy.
No. Go for me. So I will put Bears as the top team because they have Caleb Williams. You have your young quarterback and nucleus. So if you're a head coach, you're like, okay, I just got to figure out how to build around that guy because the talent is obviously there. But I don't think the Saints are far off. And I know that's crazy to say given the cap hell situation. But when I say the Saints are a good destination for a first-time head coach, even at that, it's for a number of reasons. Yes, the Saints are in cap hell, but they've always shown that if they want a player, they'll go get that player, regardless of the cap situation. And I think they also showed job security. Mm-hmm. Dennis Allen, with 31 other teams, probably doesn't get a 3rd year, more than likely, especially given how the first 2 years went and the team he inherited. It wasn't if he inherited a bad team. You inherited a good team with veterans that had the opportunity to win, and you didn't get the job done. And so I think if I'm a young coach and I'm saying, oh, okay, they'll give me the time. As long as I'm doing my job and trying to make progress, they will be open to giving me the time to fix the ship, essentially. And, hey, you hired Dennis Allen, right? What's the first thing that the Saints did? They went after Deshaun Watson, the top free agent, and arguably had the better deal until the Cleveland Browns offered a King's ransom, right? So they went after and got a guy. Oh, what do we do when that doesn't work out? Oh, you want Derek Carr, who's the number 1 free agent quarterback on the market at that time, because we all knew, technically speaking, Aaron Rodgers wasn't a free agent. So we knew we knew we weren't going to get that. We knew the Jets wanted him. So you go get Derek Carr because your head coach says, I really want this guy. You go and draft the guys like Olave and Trevor Penning because your coaching staff want these guys. You give your coach full reign on who he brings in, whether it's a roster situation or whether it's a staff situation. And if I'm a head coach and I'm seeing that I get that level of power, especially for my first time, well, I might be open to that. And like I said, I get the cap situation is scary, but the cap has never held the Saints back when they wanted to make moves and if they wanted to get guys. And you're maybe coming into a team that has a top 10 pick. So you get to pick your quarterback if you want to as well. So now you're designing things about the quarterback that you want, not necessarily speaking the quarterback that you inherit, which would be the case with Chicago, even albeit a number one overall pick, but you're still inheriting somebody, and everything's going to be tied to how he develops. Because so go ahead.
I'll say this on the pushback on the Saints job, with the coach like having a good bit of say so. I think it'll be different because Dennis Allen already had like cachet in that deal.
Good point.
Bringing in an outside guy, first coaching job, like you said, a lot of people bring up Ben Johnson. He's going to probably have his pick up the litter with coach, and I think he might just switch over to Chicago in the same division. But I don't know if the Saints will be willing to do that with a first-time head coach. Like I said, I think Doug Peterson, he's a candidate that I think is going to be up for an offensive coordinator job or another head coaching job. It just the wheels just fell off this year with Jackson. Give him another chance. But with the expectations of that team and them giving Trevor Lawrence that big contract, they might just move on. But the Saints' job is not appealing. I know that's back to back, but it's not the worst job. It's not the best job either. The three jobs out there is not attractive at all. Besides Bears, because you have Caleb Williams in that number one pick. And they might have another great pick this year if they keep the losers. They're about to join the Saints with losing 7 games in a row this year. If they lose next week, so I don't know. I think the Panthers have done that in the Saints, but I'm not sure. But the Saints have a good team. They need a revamped D line. I'm not gonna say have a good team. They have good players. They have good players that you could build around, even though they're on the older side of their career. They just have to revamp the defensive line, and the running back position behind Kamara. Wide receiver depth, offensive line depth, and I say they have good players, but they have holes in position, and they just got to stay healthy. Like, please stay on the field. Can we stay on the field? If you can stay on the field, you can really see what the Saints have with a good coach behind them. But because I don't think the offensive line is as bad as we thought it was going to be coming into the
year. Especially Trevor Penning, for sure.
We thought they were going to be bad, but Trevor has made some strides. Granted, he was horrible his first year. He didn't have to. Anything would have been better than that. His stride. When you're bad starting off, and then you become to where you're supposed to be or average, the stride looks big because you were so bad. If you get on the bike and you keep falling off, and the next time you pedal about 10 strides, you get down the block. Like, all right, you're doing good. Good job. That's basically how I think of Trevor Penning. But depending on the draft position, you might have a coach that wants to come over here and do something.
Yeah, and I got a question for you, and then I got a question for our viewers too. You guys feel free to put your responses in the chat. But Ben Johnson excluded. We're not including his name. Who's another candidate that you would like to see given an opportunity to be the Saints head coach?
Okay, y'all put it down. Me and you too, we on Twitter. Put it down. Let me log on Twitter so I can see what y'all typing in. Why not log on? Put up Twitter. Who y'all want to see the next Saints head coach? Darren Rizzi? Aaron Glenn? Clint Kubiak? We know Trey don't want to see Clint Kubiak.
No, hell no. but you can take that too, bro. Like who is somebody that you say, okay, I would at least like us to look at him, or I hope we looking at him, or it would be cool to have him kind of take that position.
Names. I don't want no familiar name.
Okay.
I want somebody innovative. Somebody. Hey, I ain't gonna say familiar because I wouldn't be mad at Mike Vrabel.
Okay.
I'm familiar with Mike Vrabel, and I think he could be a good coach. He'll bring that. But we just coming off a defensive head coach. So I don't know if we should go offensive minded head coach. And I don't know who. I don't know. Not too many candidates come to my mind. I'm not familiar with every offensive coordinator who will be available.
Yeah.
I know Falcons offensive coordinator. I think the guy brought him over there, Zach Robinson.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Zach Robinson getting a look. He got to look at offensive coordinator
Yeah.
last year. I wouldn't mind him getting a look at the head coach position, even though I think that's very unlikely. But that's something I would like to see.
Liam Cohen is an option too. I mean, you mentioned Todd Bowles probably not getting another year, and some people say it's because Liam Cohen is kind of being pushed as that person to take over. So,
I'm not mad at that. Who's on your mind? Who you got?
When I think of guys, you know, and I'm kind of thinking of the lens of who could come in and help a young quarterback develop. And so Cliff Kingsbury is a guy that comes to mind. Obviously, what he's doing with Jaden Daniels. He's also coordinator over in Washington. And what he's doing with Jaden Daniels, and even what he did with Kyler Murray coming in his rookie year. And when I think about Cliff, it would have to be, you know, I know what he can do in terms of designing an offense tailor made for his starting quarterback. But I think with him, it was about what are the other things. And so if he could hire a really good coaching staff, it would really be good to, you know, see what he can be. But I'm going to throw a name out. You say you want a name that's not familiar. Ken Dillingham. Okay. He is the current head coach of Arizona State University.
I knew you was
and he has turned that program around. And of course, you know, he's going to be getting some offers from some of the bigger collegiate programs when they have some job openings. But I think if we want to go an unconventional route and get somebody from the collegiate ranks, it would be interesting. He's 34 years old, so a really, really young guy. I think he has some ties to some younger guys that could make a name for themselves. We've seen a lot of that from the offensive side of the ball, you know, like Liam Cohen coming over from college and then getting into the pros. But we haven't really seen a lot from the defensive side. I mean, I think you've seen it with the Chargers, Kevin Minter coming from Michigan with Coach Harbaugh. But, you know, I could see Kenny Dillingham. He's kind of from that Saban and who's my guy? That Saban UGA, and he came from Oregon as well. So that Dan Lanning tree, and so I could see maybe getting that defensive coordinator from Georgia to come over and be our DC as well. And Ken probably handles the offense. So that would be something interesting. You know, if we put forth that effort, I think you would like to think that every coach aspires to coach at the next level, be in the NFL. But who knows? You know, maybe Arizona State says, hey, we want to keep this guy around for a long time. They get their collectives together, give him a good contract extension, make sure they keep his roster intact. And so he wants to give it another run because they are vying for a Big 12 championship and possible college football playoff berth. So maybe he doesn't want to just be done after 2 years. But maybe the Saints, we're talking about them maybe having to provide some Godfather-like offers for some candidates. That could be one of the guys they try to poach from the college ranks. So
I wouldn't be mad at it. But one thing I'll have to say, the Saints do have a veteran team. Bringing in a young guy, 34, I don't know how that may fare with the
OGs.
Yeah, with the team. I wouldn't be mad at it. Bringing in a guy like that kind of like gives me rebuild vibes. No experience at the head coaching level. But it'll kind of be like a JJ Redick hire, basically. Like, you have no, but obviously he has coaching experience. JJ had none, but you'll be bringing a young coach onto a veteran team. But I wouldn't be mad at it. I do like the Cliff Kingsbury pick though. That's a guy who's been a head coach. He's produced good quarterback play when he was a head coach. And I think his offense is built for this modern NFL league. He can tailor make his offense. Granted, he's had dual threat quarterbacks. So I like to see him with Derek Carr if he's still our quarterback next year. With a quarterback quarterback who's basically limited with his legs, to say the least. So I would like to see him. I would like to see how that would look. But I wouldn't mind Cliff Kingsbury. And you mentioned another DC. You believe Joe Woods is out since we hired our head coach.
Yeah, I think so. And I wouldn't even say that's an indictment on Coach Woods,
Right.
because I feel like since he's come on board, at the very least, you've seen us generate a bunch of turnovers, which wasn't always the case. We tended to be this bend but don't break type of defense.
Yeah.
But he's come in and he's created a culture where if we're not creating takeaways, we're not doing our job as a defense. So I'm not saying he's totally out, but just kind of giving the same thing. Like if you get a new coach and hire, they usually bring in their whole staff. What Dennis Allen did year one was kind of an anomaly. And I think part of that was probably some of the relationships he already had in the locker room and in the staff room, and maybe the contingencies for him getting the nod over maybe some other candidates. Or maybe some outside candidates, I should say.
I'll say this. You mentioned the bend but don't break mentality with the Saints defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think that happens because I think the Saints, when the field shrinks and they get our opposing teams get into red zone territory, the Saints' strength shine, which is the secondary, the defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other team, this is just a theory I have. I think other teams drop the ball out of the field with ease because our pass rush is non-existent
right
times. But when the field shrinks, you get to see the cornerback shine, the secondary shine outside of the safety. So that's just a theory I have. But I don't think whatever this team do, we need to do something with the defensive line. I'm sick of it. I don't want to give nobody a shot out on the defensive line. Last year was Carl Granderson. No, not this year. I don't want to give nobody no shout outs.
Right.
Because it's just bad all around. We talked about this the whole offseason. The key to the defense was defensive line. In the first week, I saw it. First week, I was tweeting you like, oh, God. Even when we was with it. Even when we beat Carolina. I said, oh, Lord, Bryce Young's just missing throws out there. That game should have never been a blowout. He just missing throws, wild overthrows. Granted, your guy has gotten better, but that first week, man, they fooled us. But let's move on, man. We talked about the Saints and the head coaching jobs.
Did anybody put anything in there?
Let me see. I gotta see if I can see. Oh, hold on. Let me look on here. I don't know if I can see it on screen, y'all.
Put anything in there?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Twitter playback. You hear how your voice down on the stream, huh?
Yeah.
You ever watch our streams and listen to yourself?
I do. They need to give me some animation jobs, man.
I watch mine every time I pull it up, my big daddy.
You know, if they really want to animate a character from New Orleans and not that Bayou Bingo, that Bayou stuff they be doing. What did that say? Wow. Wow. Thank y'all.
You got that. Man, let me see. I'm trying to see if I can see the comments. I don't see no comments. I don't know if I can see them on Twitter either.
It's all good. Let me see.
I don't see them on there, y'all. But we do have 25 people in here live. Drop the comments, man. If y'all in here, 26 people now. I'm keep running it up. But let's get to our next topic. We talked about head coaching. We talked about the thankful Chiefs Raiders game. Let's talk about this right now while they're on. Let me check the update on the score.
Yeah.
Time I checked, it was 3-3.
Oh Lord.
A snoozer. It is 3-10 Chiefs. Ball on the 50, 18 seconds left at the half. They're trying to get 3 points. Antonio Pierce, another head coaching job they might get. What about this? Will he last this season?
I would like him to, given I don't think he got a fair shake in the sense of getting the quarterback he wanted. Albeit they tried. I think they tried really aggressively to get Jaden Daniels in this past draft, and knowing their history at Arizona State together. But you had a bad year. You had to go out there with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell as your two options. I think give him another year and an opportunity to
Uh,
get his quarterback, which probably might be Shador Sanders. They can get up there. We know the relationship between the Sanders family and Tom Brady, who's one of the new owners or has an ownership stake in the Las Vegas Raiders. But I would like to, man. Like I feel like some of these other coaches, they inherit certain situations and they get multiple opportunities to make it right. And to fire a guy after 1 year and he doesn't even have his whole everything in place. Like I mean, he was the interim last year. This is his first full offseason trying to get guys, see what works. Like you can't judge a quarterback. I mean, you can't judge a coach until he has his quarterback in the building.
correct.
And I think it would be unfair in my opinion. I mean, I get it. Life isn't fair to fire him. So I would love to see him get another year if possible. But maybe if they feel like they're already going new quarterback and they want to have a coach tied to them for the long term, they may go a new direction. But we'll see how the season goes. I think you've mentioned this in a number of other ways of, hey, a lot of it depends on how a coach finishes the year. And I
Yes.
think the same could be said for Antonio Pierce. Like if they finish the year just looking like they lost fight, not even talking about a wins or loss component, but if it just looks like they're not giving their all out there, and he's not getting the message across of competing, then maybe you go make a change. But you know, when he got the job, it felt like a lot of the guys in that locker room appreciated it and loved it, given they had been in that situation before, losing out on a guy who came in as the interim, led them to the playoffs, and the Raiders had decided to go with Josh McDaniel as opposed to that coach at the time. So, you know, maybe they give Coach Pierce a little bit more saving grace, but you know, we'll see. I think to your point, like you always say, it depends on how you finish the year. That's going to dictate if you get another shake at it. So that's kind of what I'm looking at when it comes to the Raiders.
I kind of agree with you there because he won this job last year because the players loved him. He came in, they showed some fight after they fired their head coach. They beat the Chiefs last year. That was a big thing that why he won that job. And the players they were speaking for him after the game. His peers, man, his message got through, and that's what won him that job. And I think, um, like you said, giving them 1 year to get it right. You got quarterbacks switching back and forth between Aiden O'Connell and who's the other guy?
Gardner
Minshew.
Minshew.
Yeah, Minshew. I think he just got hurt. So I think he at least deserves another shot. We got guys, man, who get way past their time with organizations. We're a victim of it ourselves. We know. I just gotta get a couple more jabs, Mr. Adams, before the year over. But yeah, I think he should get another shot. And like you said, depends on how you end the year, man. A 3-game winning streak at the end of the year could save your job. If you're a non-playoff team. Depends how you go out. And it could get you fired. Just ask Lovie Smith by not getting that first pick for Houston.
Houston, yeah, Houston.
Yeah, so it can get you fired as well. So, but it's been I'm pretty shocked that it's been like three linebackers have head coaching jobs like in this league. Well,
Yeah.
Vrabel, D'Amico, and Antonio Pierce. So defensive head coaches, they getting there, man. And they talking about it's a lot of offensive minded offensive coordinators, but the defensive guys getting in there as well. And Dan Campbell, he wasn't a linebacker, but he built like one. He was a tight end, but he built like one. So we're gonna put him in there as well. I want to talk about an NBA topic if this don't
Yeah.
mind you.
Hey, go ahead.
3-14. Philadelphia 76ers. Last time we talked, I believe they had 3 wins.
I think so.
They have, and the second we got off our stream, Paul George, a couple hours later, we
Got hurt.
Talking about it, man. When you tweeted me that, I saw it, but I wanted to tag you. I didn't tag you, and you tagged me in it, and I forgot to respond. I said, "Oh my Lord, hyperextended knee, same knee that he did
Same knee. Preseason, yeah."
I said, "Man." Then they say he's going to be out the weekend. I said, "Why are they doing this? He's not going to be out the weekend." Then they came out it was a bone bruise. He's going to be out long weekend. Like just get this guy. He's gonna be out 2 weeks indefinitely. Just say that because
Right.
saying he's gonna be reevaluated in 2 games. Then when the 2 games come, he's gonna be out another week. Don't do it. Philly, they're 5 games out of the play-in right now. What's going on, bro? How do you see this season going for Philly?
Man, you know, the crazy thing is because Tyrese is hurt too. You know,
he came
in
back
their
early.
minds, I think did he? In their minds, I think they feel. In their minds, I think they feel like they can maybe pull a late push to the play-in, which I think is just a waste of their time. When you're thinking of the level of effort and physicality that it will take to push in that grind, because since they've started to play in, you've seen teams that in other years they would just pull it in and just give up on a year and worry about draft position. They're like, oh well, we can still push for the playoffs, and even if we don't make it, we still got good playoff, good draft position. So, do I trust Paul George and a Joel Embiid to really put their bodies on the line to get a play-in spot? I don't. But don't fret, Philly fans that are watching this show. Jared McCain out of Duke University has been a sight for sore eyes. I tell you that much. I mean,
their best player.
He has been their best player. I mean, this guy, has been balling. I think he had his career high 34 points not too long ago. And obviously, I think him and Tyrese Maxey will be a good backcourt if you decide to build around them. So that's something that's exciting for the Philadelphia 76ers this year. But maybe they turn around. I think one of the few times we talked about the Bucks and they were in position to have the number 1 overall pick, they were so bad. And now they've gotten themselves to be in the 500 ball club. So maybe by the grace of God, the Philadelphia 76ers find their way somehow, some way. But
man,
it's not promising to me.
Bro, I'm looking at this. Washington has 2 wins. 2-15. Philly is 3-14.
Yeah.
They're the second worst team in the league. The Pelicans are 4-15. Granted, the whole Pelicans team out. Now we know the Philly team is out, but voluntarily, Joel Embiid was out.
And that'll probably be their only saving grace for real. They play in the East, like we just talked about the records. If the Spurs are the 10th seed in the West, that would be the 5th seed in the East. So being in the East helps. And
I'll say this though, Trey, before you go.
Go ahead.
Pelicans with 4 wins. They're 5 games out of the play-in. Philly's 5 games out of the play-in. So when you at the bottom, it's no different.
Right.
So, like, if you try to fight to get in the play-in, you're still like 5 games down. And like you said, they're not going to put their body on the line.
Right.
That means every game will count for them.
Right. And
every game, you got to go hard.
And remember, bro, they already told us they're not doing back-to-backs. Well, Joel Embiid said he's not doing back-to-backs. So if we're not going to take that every game matters, every game is essentially a playoff game for us to get in the playoffs, you're not making it, because now I got to account for the 76ers' best player not playing on certain nights. Then maybe the guy that's being paid to be their second best player dealing with his knee injuries or leg injuries at this point in his career.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing how much his fluidity is a big part of his game, offensively and defensively, and that in some way that's hindered throughout this season, it's going to be hard to catch up for him. But being in the East, maybe is your saving grace. So we'll see.
Man, it's looking real bad for Philadelphia. Dang, I know Nick Nurse is sick to his stomach right now. Nick Nurse is a good coach. He's a good coach, man. He got to deal with that over there. That's 3-14. Lord, I don't know what to say, bro. You paying that much money for excluding Tyrese Maxey, man. Paul George and Joel Embiid, get it together, please. But I want to ask you, before we get out of here, I want to ask you on your NBA side.
Yeah.
What has been your biggest surprise this year? I'm gonna go through. I know we could say Cleveland because they started off 15-0.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go through the standings because it looked like Cleveland and Boston are gonna battle for that first spot, man.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland at 17-2. Boston follows. Orlando third. With Paolo Banchero been out a good bunch of time, Franz Wagner is filling up the stat sheet, man. New York Knicks 11-8. Milwaukee is getting it back together 9-9. Miami 8-8. You know they the old reliable steady team. It's like I barely seen any games on Miami this year, but they're steady. Indiana 9-10. Disappointed. I called Indiana was a fluke. Get to the finals. I got to see more from them because Tyrese has been anything but great. Brooklyn number 8. Atlanta number 9 and Chicago number 10. Seems like these two always 9 and 10 in the playoffs.
Always.
Please rebuild or do something, one of y'all. Detroit with 8 wins, tied for 10. Shockingly, they was bad with Washington last year, but they have been getting some wins. Charlotte 6-13, they're fun to watch.
Yeah,
they're getting a couple wins. Toronto 5-14. That's Toronto. Philly 3-14, and Washington is just Lord, send them to the G League. 15. That's on the East. Anybody stood out on the East side to you?
Well, I would definitely say the Magic have stood out, and more so because of what they're able to do without Paolo. Because when we talked about projections, I had them as a top 4 seed in the East, but of course that's assuming that Paolo's a big part of that, and for him to be out for a while, and I obviously the best player, Franz has stepped up big time for them, made some big shots in some of their most recent games. And so that's been surprising. So shout out to their staff of getting their guys ready and kind of having that next man up mentality. Maybe having a KCP over there now from a veteran standpoint. We're kind of talking about how important these vets are to these young teams, and having a guy like that that's been a part of some championship teams is saying, hey, we can keep this ship afloat until our guy gets back. And you can see they're doing just that. So I'm excited to see when Paolo does return, if they're able to get a big push towards the end of the year and maybe secure a top 3 seed, because they were kind of good last year, and then towards the end of the year they fell down and ended up losing a chance at home court advantage in the first round. I would say biggest disappointment in the East obviously is the Philadelphia 76ers. We had our questions about them, but to be 3 wins after 17 games, that's something we didn't foresee happening. We thought maybe
it like that. 3 wins.
It is what it is, bro. But like you think, okay, their issues are going to come in the postseason. That was everything we talked about, was what's going to be the postseason. They may not even make the postseason. You know how insane that is?
Playoffs.
You paid Joel Embiid all that money. You paid Paul George all that money. You're paying Tyrese Maxey. You bring in Nick Nurse, and you're not going to make the playoffs. That's just unforgivable as a franchise, and that's crazy, bro.
What our guy said, playoffs. Playoffs, man. They need to be doing what Allen Iverson was complaining about. Right?
Yeah,
we're talking about practice, man. Oh man, look,
we got some Raiders fans in here, bro.
I do see
the hey, y'all. Hey, y'all come through. I'll tell you that much. Now, some of y'all might be, bots and stuff, but that's cool. But I see some Raiders fans in there.
See, look.
I noticed you're Michael Evans.
Huh?
I read all these comments. Jake L, appreciate you. Telling everybody to like and subscribe.
Nick Nurse is a great coach.
Hey.
Larry, hit that like. Man, these Raider fans are in here.
I agree with you, Colin. Nick Nurse is a great coach. We gotta give that man some help.
He is. Nick Nurse is.
Let's see. Got somebody said they sending love. We appreciate that, man.
National. All right, Lamar. Grossi raid. What is that?
I don't know, but Tom Grossi, NFL Fan of the Year, certainly seems like it. Looked like you got an army, so hell, I'll vote for you. Show me the link. I go vote. I'll vote for you, but make sure y'all like and subscribe though.
Heard. I'll say that you got 36 live. A lot of grocery raids probably in here, whatever that means. But we appreciate y'all. We're gonna move on. Well, before we move on to the West, I'm gonna say who's my biggest shock. You picked Orlando. My biggest shock. I'm looking at my teams. It would have been. I'm just gonna leave Philly off because we
Okay.
know everybody's biggest shock. But in the East, I'm gonna go with Detroit. Detroit Pistons.
Fair.
Because they've
Fair.
been a competitive team. They could easily have
Yeah.
about 11 wins right now. So Detroit Pistons, y'all, Cade Cunningham has been playing real well. One thing I seen about Cade though, I was watching Cade. He looks a little bit heavy. I don't know. Maybe I was looking too much. I don't know how many Piston games you caught, but he looks a little bit heavy, and I would like to see him drop a couple.
Yeah.
I'm not a fitness coach, but he looks a little bit heavy. When he was playing Charlotte, it looked like LaMelo was pretty much moving weight fluid. And I know LaMelo's a small, skinny guy, frail guy,
Mhm.
but he was his game was more fluid than Detroit. But I'm showing Detroit love, man. Jay Nobby, Jalen Duran, Cade Cunningham. Y'all doing work over there. Keep it up. Let's go to the West Coast, man. Pretty much what most people predicted. OKC #1 coming off their last year.
Okay.
Chet is hurt. Isaiah Hartenstein has came back though, and he balled out
Bowling.
Balled
15
out
and 12. My God.
already, and we know he was gonna fill that role of rebounding and double doubles. So anybody, they do play the Lakers tonight. Plug in Isaiah Hartenstein for a double double, because when AD is not on the floor, I think I can get 8 rebounds at least. Right? Man, but that's gonna be a big game tonight between two. That's gonna be a star-studded game. Shea, AD,
Mhm.
Brown, of course. Chet not in, but Hartenstein will feel real good, right? Filling that role real good.
Mhm.
Houston #2, 14-6. Golden State 12-6. They started out real hot. Golden State. They kind of filtered off a little bit because Curry is missing games in and out, and he's playing his lowest minutes ever so far. So they
Mhm.
trying to save him for the long stretch because he is basically the only star guy on the team. Memphis at #4. We know they'll make a comeback. Lakers at #5. Clippers at 6. James Harden, man, doing his thing, bro. Denver Nuggets at 7. Mavs at 8. Suns at 9. Granted, the Suns were on a 4-game losing streak before Bradley Beal and KD came back.
Yeah.
Spurs 10-9. Wemby was out a couple games.
Yeah. He was out like 3 games. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sac in Minnesota 11-12. Portland better than what I thought they'd be. 7 wins. Utah 4 wins. New Orleans 4 wins. That's New Orleans is the Philadelphia of the East, but we don't blame them. But I think a lot of people will be blaming Zion because he's hurt again. What another hamstring and is indefinitely. But they're disappointing as well. I remember I looked on FanDuel, and the only person you could bet on the Pelicans, think guess who it was?
Alfred Payton.
Javante Green.
Oh goodness. Good Lord.
Rebounds, no other player, just him. The Pelicans are missing Jose Alvarado, DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Zion. Was missing Ingram. They're missing their first 7 rotation players, and they never had a center. And Trey Murphy came back, but he wasn't playing back-to-back games, so he's in, he's out. Ingram came back and he's in. But they're missing their 7 rotational players. And we know they never had a center to begin with.
That's insane.
So what's your biggest shock of the West, man?
I definitely say a good shock is the Houston Rockets. I mean, led by the corporate pimp, Coach Ime Udoka, is what I call him affectionately.
He got his woman back too.
Yeah, you guys woman back. Obviously, Drea Michelle has a gift because somehow, some way, she knows how to pick him and inspire a young man to play the best game of his life. Because Jalen Green is not the Jalen Green I've seen over the years. He is someone different and someone that is a force to be reckoned with. And so it's good to see how they're playing. They got their young guys paid. They got Jalen Green paid. They got their big paid. What's his name again? Shagun. They got him paid, and obviously they're trying to figure out what they're doing with their vets But to be the second seed in the West, and it's not as if there's been like outside of the Pelicans, there haven't been like some crazy injuries that are going on. That's like, okay, that's why the Houston Rockets are the
Right.
top of the seed right now. When other teams get healthy, they'll be back to normal. Like, nah, Ime has those guys playing, which is not surprising. And you kind of seen the same resurgence he did with Boston, and kind of showing what JT and JB could be on that stage. And so he's kind of doing it with the Rockets. Do I think they may tail off a little bit? Yeah, because Dallas Mavericks, Lucas was dealing with an injury, so I think things might become a little bit more even within that division, the Southwest Division, where Dallas kind of supplants them. But I still think they may push themselves to be in the top 5 seed if they can obviously stay healthy, and their players, especially their young players, are still playing well, and playing for Udoka. And look, man, I don't want to. I guess much like the 76ers, you mentioned the Pelicans are the 76ers of the West right now, and they've just been a disappointment, man. And it's not even just the injuries. It just feels like they're just in a void. It's just everything. It's everything. It's the injuries. It's the coaching. It's management of, why aren't you really going out and getting guys that can help this team? You had an opportunity to, move off of Brandon Ingram, and you chose not to. And
kind of smart with it because he's the only one there.
Yeah, but you could have had more options to kind of get picks, and now you're in the position where Brandon Ingram alone is talented enough to get you out of the dumps and get you in so draft position. When Zion comes back, you're going to end up finding yourself in a play-in position again when all the signs are pointing to you saying, take it away, make up something that Brandon Ingram is having, make the announcement that Zion Williamson will not be returning this year. You have an opportunity to have 2 picks in the top 4. I'm all in. Like we talked about the Saints having to be all in. The Pelicans have a perfect opportunity to be all in on this season, on this tank job with some of the players coming out this year. And it's almost as if they aren't willing to do it with all the signs, every opportunity they can do it. You have the injury excuse.
Yep.
Take it. So I'm interested to see what they do.
Definitely has that injury excuse to ship. He might. I know Nick Nurse won't be fired. There's no way anybody can look at Nick Nurse and be like, "Oh, that's his fault."
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's anybody, got to go with Daryl Morey. Anybody who's been enabling Embiid to have that mindset of how he has his mindset. I don't know if the guys heard or not. I'm not gonna tell you about how you feel, but the mindset of I'm not doing this before the season.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. If you hurt, really come out with the injury and be like, "Hey, he has a sprained MCL." then the fans and everybody be like, "Oh, he got a sprained MCL. He hurt, man." But don't go out there and play and half-assed, and we looking at you like, "Oh, he's a warrior." Oh, we're not looking at like you're a warrior. We're looking at you like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
But man, I seen this comment of what the man said. The guy said he sends his viewer at halftime to like and subscribe streamers at halftime.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. He said another guy, Bill Fry, said, this guy said Grossi raid, no bots, the blues guy.
Okay. We gotta check this Grossi guy out. See, you know what? You all show love. And then we get curious and we got to show love back. That's just how it's supposed to be, right?
Right now, NFL fan of the year. He must go to every game. Tom Grossi. Oh, he's a Pack fan.
Okay.
All right. He's a Packer fan and he's a YouTuber.
Okay.
2015, he's been creating NFL content at least 6 days a week during the regular season. Okay.
Well, they having a good year right now. So shout out to y'all getting y'all's dub, last night against Miami Dolphins, and appreciate you sending folks over. We gotta like and subscribe to this channel, bro.
Facts, y'all blessed over there at the Packers universe with all these quarterbacks coming through there. I'm hoping we could have had an easy torch passing with Breeze to somebody.
Can y'all sprinkle some of that on us for a little bit?
We're struggling to find a quarterback after our GOAT and left. Damn, bro. But My NBA pleasant surprise of the West. It's gonna be and I want to tell you, Atlanta's beating looks like they're gonna beat Cleveland. Like 1 minute left there, about 14.
Okay,
And
future point guard for the San Antonio Wimbies. I see you, Trae Young. Okay.
yep, it looked like they're about to fall to 3 losses, Cavaliers. But my surprise of the West is the LA Clippers.
Fair.
I didn't think the Clippers were going to be bad, like a lot of people thought, because you know how highly I think of Ty Lue.
Mm-hmm.
Different. Have different opinions on Ty Lue. You know, I think he's probably right behind Spoelstra as one of the top coaches in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Different. But and I think that is what has them at the 6th position in the West.
Right.
Granted, a 2-game losing streak could drop you. That's how tight it is in the West. But as expectations with Kawhi, another guy who we don't know injury. I don't even know what his injury is still. I just
no idea. So there's no it's a knee.
Yeah, that's it. And he's out indefinitely. I don't think he's going to play this year. Meaning 2024, he might play in 2025. Never know. But what Ty Lue has been doing with this team, James Harden playing well. He's not averaging the crazy numbers he averaged at Houston because I don't think he can do that no more unless he shoots a crazy amount of volume. But he just moved up in the top 5 of 3-pointers made in history. A lot of people would think that of James Harden, but all those step back threes added up in Houston, man. So he was shooting about 10 a game over there. So a lot of people don't think of James Harden as one of the greatest shooters ever, but volume he put up and he knocked him down in Houston a lot. So give James Harden some credit. I kill him a lot for his playoff performances and how he tapers off. And another guy with I wouldn't say conditioning, but weight problems. Yeah. He's got bigger noticeably as he got older. It's kind of funny because it's crazy. Like once he went to the Nets, you see like the weight. So it's like it was a joke that he had a fat suit.
A bodysuit, yeah.
Yeah, a bodysuit. Like once he went to the team, he got skinnier. Then he went somewhere else, he got a little big. But yeah, man, Clippers are doing their thing. They got a barrage of talent. And one guy who's buried over there, man, is PJ Tucker. Free PJ Tucker, man. What's going on over there? He been trying to lead that team for a year and a half. Y'all trade that man, please. But that's about shock. That's about shock of the West, man. Clippers. Ty Lue, keep doing a great job, man. You deserve better. I would say Nick Nurse deserves better, but he ain't been there long enough. Ty Lue, you've been in there for a good bit, so please, Ballmer, keep paying that man the money he deserves. Other than that, that's my shock, man. Any bold prediction for the NBA?
Just in general for the season?
Of December.
December.
Yep. Any team you see making a jump, you see Philly going on a 10-game win streak, you see the Pellies coming back from the deep end and making it in a play games out.
I think I'll put it this way. I think the Spurs make a run at the end of December, and it's going to be highlighted by a 60-point performance in the Garden on Christmas by Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama. Now Stephon Castle, they call both of them together as a duo. They call them Area 51. That's their new nickname. And he's been balling. You know, the shots.
I like that.
You know, the shot's still a work in progress, but like I love the pressure he puts on a rim, and that freaking like he go full steam ahead and then just kind of stop on one foot.
Like a little baby job.
Yeah, and it's just like, how do you do that? Like I gotta go watch this dude in person and figure out how he do that, because that's a cool move. Because he's been getting a lot of guys, especially a lot of defensive guys that we know in the interior. The way he can kind of get them off balance with that kind of one-step Euro type of deal, like it's pretty cool. So he's been good as the 4th overall pick. And definitely making his presence known for the Spurs. So we'll see.
NBA has had a 50-point game this year. The highest this year has been De'Aaron Fox, 60 points. In basically like a week ago. So you're saying we're gonna have another 60 point from Wemby, another coming out party. I don't even know my bold prediction, but I know somebody's gonna score 60 this month. It's just the NBA.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate it, it's the NBA. I don't mind a 60-point game every month, but it can't be from 4 guys a month. Come on now. We can't have 4 guys. I remember last year, it was like somebody scored 60, then somebody scored 70, another 58. I was like, what's going on? Like, everybody just watching. That's when Embiid scored 70 on your guy.
Bro, it was crazy. Actually, look, I will say this to the highest order. He probably scored maybe 20 of those 70 on Wemby. Everything else was on Zach Collins. So when we played him again, I need Charles Bassey in the game, goddamn it.
Zach Collins.
I can't.
Heard. Man, there was a good show, y'all. We still got 33 people in here live. And I can say this: 33 people are not Tom Grossi fans right now. So we appreciate y'all. Y'all are here for us. Trey and Tay and Trey, however you want to put it. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all Thanksgiving. I got some errands to do today, which is mainly cut the grass. This is gonna be my last time for this year because you know the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Grass doesn't grow. What's your weekend plans, my man?
Man, weekend plans, about to go back to the city tomorrow, hang out a little bit with some people for the classic. You know, we repping that blue and gold around this way. So shout out to Southern. Hopefully they can get a dub, and not just the game, but also Battle of the Bands happening tonight, if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna hang out there a little bit, spend some more time with some of my other family down there, and then we heading out back home on Sunday. So been great being home, seeing family, friends. I'm glad we could get this show out. So definitely thankful for you guys and tuning in when, you know, obviously I know y'all probably spending time with your families in the stores and everything too. So so grateful for this opportunity, man. We hit 1,000 subscribers, so let's keep the train rolling.
Say, you should have, since you was down here, you should have just went to the Saints game Sunday. You should have.
I respect my peace. I ain't doing that.
I got one more question I want to ask you, bro. Black Friday is the day. Did you have anything you wanted to buy that you didn't buy? That you seen on sale for the house for you, your wife?
Honestly, bro, that's like this purse that I'm probably gonna give my wife. I probably get it before the end of the day. And that'll be her Christmas present. So, you know, I've never been big on the Black Friday shopping. I just let the women in the family, they just tell me what we're supposed to be getting, and then I go get it. So that's never changed.
Trey said, "I'm just opening the checkbook up, man."
It was it, bro.
Heard. One last thing. I guess we could wait for the Christmas to December, man. But when you're down here in New Orleans again, man, you gotta stop by. We gotta get a live show.
We will,
man, with the mics and everything. Get the experience. They get to feel the energy bouncing off each other.
Hell yeah.
When you down here again, but once again, y'all, happy Black Friday. One thing we did buy was an air fryer, a new one, a Ninja, the double.
It changed your life, bro. It'll change your life.
Bro, I've been procrastinating about that thing for a year. I was not paying that $219. I caught it on $129. I'm a deal man. It come in a day and I'm gonna put it to work.
Yeah.
But I appreciate y'all, man. Once again, Bayou Ballers Podcast. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the holiday. Christmas is coming up, man. Everybody stay safe. Please stay safe. Enjoy y'all family. And we're gonna catch up with y'all again next week. So love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate all the 34 people who are still in here right now. Enjoy y'all day. Any last words, Trey?
Nah, man, just enjoy your holiday. If you are traveling like I am, make sure you guys travel back home safely. And get ready to start all over again. But it's always a great time to hang out with family and friends, and so I appreciate all those moments, man. Y'all take care.
Thank y'all.